Hello students, in the last video you had learned unit 1 computer systems and organization where you had learned about the computer overview, that means the fundamentals of computer, and at the end you had learned the difference between the hardware and software. Hardware are the tangible components that can be seen and touched, whereas software are the set of programs that makes hardware run. So today we are going to learn about the different types of software in your same unit 1 chapter 2. So, what are software? As I told you, software represents the set of programs that govern the operation of computer system and make the hardware run. So, hardware are the components that occupy space, but software are installed in that hardware so that they can run the instructions and will give you the output. So you can say it brings hardware parts into action. Software are basically categorized into two categories. One, system software and application software. Let us see these two categories in the form of chart that will give you a more clarity. Types of software. So you can see here we have system software and application software. System software are further categorized into operating system, language processor. Operating system are further categorized into various categories. Similarly, language processor are also different types of processors. Now, the next is application software, which are further categorized into various categories. So, first of all, we are going to learn about the application software. As the name itself is telling you, application software, the software which are designed to perform specific application, or you can say the desired task. So we can define application software as the software that brought the computer system by a user for performing the desired task. In application softwares, basically, we have three categories: packages, utilities, and general application software. So package means where a particular category of tasks can be done and which are combined to make a suit as per your requirements and needs. So you can define it as the general application software that may be used by individual users to suit their needs and requirements. For example, word processing software. You require Word doc for your documentation, for your CV, for your project report. So you use word processing software to prepare your documents like WordPad, MS Word, PageMaker. These are the different word processing softwares. Similarly, spreadsheet also denotes a suite. That means these are the software which helps you to do your calculations. Functions can be given, data analysis can be done, big data also requires spreadsheet. So the examples of spreadsheet software are Lotus 123, MS Excel, etc. Similarly, when we want to maintain our data in row column format, we need database. So for database management systems, again we have a package and there we can use MS Excel, MS Access, Oracle, SQL Server, etc. Desktop publishing software, you must have seen that the printing press generally used DTP softwares. So DTP softwares are basically used to design your letterheads, your visiting cards, t-shirts designing, certificate designing, and so on. Graphics, multimedia, and presentation applications. These are the applications which are helpful to give presentations to your audience. You can use graphics, you can use videos, multimedia, etc. like Corel Draw, PowerPoint, Adobe Photoshop, Microsoft Photo Editor, Adobe Express, etc. So let us come to the utilities. You might have heard this is a utility balcony. What does it mean? Utilities basically are those application programs that assist computer by performing housekeeping functions. That means In case you want to maintain your computer system, your hardware, you have to perform few tasks in your system. These tasks can be performed by the utilities softwares. For example, text editor. Text editor like Notepad, these are used for creating and editing text files, and the positive point of these text files are that it can be run on any platform, whether it's Windows, whether it's Linux, whether it's Ubuntu, you have Unix. So you can use text editor in any of the platform. Backup utility. For example, like you might have seen in the banks, so many accounts are there. They have to keep their data as a backup. You also keep your data as a backup. When I prepare question papers, when I prepare assignments, I always have to keep a backup. So when you want to keep a backup, that is called a backup utility, just to make a duplicate of the disk information, right? Next is compression utility. You might have used compressed files. Sometimes you want to send your file and it's a long one, you want to mail it, so you want to compress it. So compression can be done. Zip file, WinZip, that is used to compress or uncompress your large files as per your storage area. Disk defragmenter. This defragmenter means when you have a memory and you have so many cells, you have so many data, and in between, from the memory, it's a read write memory. You can read the data, you can write the data, you can delete the data. And when you delete the data, in between, in the cells, few spaces are vacant because you have already deleted the data. So those vacant spaces are again utilized further using disk defragmenter. Okay. Next is antivirus software. You might have used this software. Antivirus is used for removing virus from the disk so that your data will be safe. Next is your customized application software. Let us understand this concept when you go to the market. For example, if you want to go and you want to buy a shirt for yourself, you will go directly and say, I need a 40 number shirt. So that is a general one. You have purchased the 40 number and you can utilize it. But it might be possible that your pocket is not in that position where you want. Maybe you want uh, small sleeves. Maybe you want some buttons, right? So in case if you want a customized one, that means the tailor made, then you will go to the tailor and you will give your own specifications that yes, I want this button to be here, I want this pocket to be here, I want my shirt in 39 size instead of 40, I want 39. So customized application software is also known as tailor-made software, which is developed by the which are developed by the manufacturer for particular users to meet their requirements, right, as specified by them. For example, a company ABC is there. That company wants to develop a software like ABC accounting. As per their requirements, they will modify it, they will customize it. For example, let us take a example of library, right? In your library, it might be possible that you issue a book for 7 days, and after 7 days, on a daily basis, you might have to pay 1 rupee as a fine, or 10 rupees as a fine, or 5 rupees as a fine. So the ERP software is developed where the library, the librarian sir or teacher, ma'am, whatever you have, they have been given a software, customized software, where after 7 days it will automatically calculate the fine and will give you the specifications, will give you the brief information that yes, you have issued this book on this date and you are supposed to return it on this date. Since you are late by 4 days, so you have to pay 4 rupees as a fine, then only it will be returned. So this is called customized application software. As per your requirements, you will change it. Next is system software. System software that controls the system of the computer. That means that controls the internal computer operations. These are very important, and basically it is categorized into two: language processor and operating system. Now, what is language processor? As the name itself is telling you, language processor. That means that processes the language. So how? The system programs which are used to convert assembly language or high level language into machine language, so that machine language means binary language, so that it can be easily understood by the computer. That is known as language processors or translators. You might have seen in parliaments and all, where one language is converted into other by the translators. So in the same way, computers also requires language processors or translators to convert from high level or assembly language into machine language, so that it can be easily understood by the computer. And these language processors are of three types. One is called assembler, other one is called interpreter, and compiler. Let us learn the difference between the three. Assembler, these are the oldest one. These are the language processors which are used to convert assembly language, that is a low level language, into machine language and vice versa. For example, you might have heard about 8085 assembler, 8086 turbo assembler, and so on. Interpreter converts high level language into machine language line by line. Since it converts line by line, it is slower and it always requires space as compared to compiler. Whereas the compiler again converts high level language into machine language, vice versa, in one go. That means it is faster and it occupies more space, but it is comparatively faster, and it will make the program error free in one go, right? But in case of interpreter, like Python is an interpreter, GW basic, here you have to resolve errors line by line. First you are going to remove the error from line 1, then line 2, then line 3. In case if you have error in line 3, it will not move to line 4. So Python and GW basic are the example of interpreter. Please remember that. And C++ is an example of compiler. Okay. So interpreter is always present in the memory. Compiler, it is not always required in the memory, as it creates the object file which are helpful to execute. Okay. Now next is the last topic, is the operating system. Now, operating system is basically a system program that controls and manages all the computer resources, so that your software can be run, your application can be executed. For example, Windows, Solaris, right? Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, Apple's iPhone, iOS that you say. These are the examples of operating system. Why do we need operating system? Operating system basically is just like a manager. It manages hardware resources, it provides resources, it provides a stable and consistent way for applications to deal with the hardware without having to know all the details of the hardware. So you can see in the diagram also, operating system basically acts as an interface between the hardware as well as the user. So what are the functions of operating system? Functions of operating system are processor management. You just point out the points, right? Processor management, that manages the processor. Memory management, which manages the allocation and deallocation of the memory. Device management, which communicates and controls all the IO devices. Whatever input output devices you have, that has to be managed. Storage management, where the data is to be stored, how to store, right? How to pick it, how to store. So all these things will be done by the storage management. Next is application interface. You might have seen, like if you have the devices like printer, you have drives, hard drives, DVD drives, CD drives, you need some drivers. So those drivers are providing a way for application to make use of that hardware system, right? Next is user interface. That is the most important one, to interact between a user and the computer. So whatever commands we are giving, that goes to operating system. There it interacts, understands, and solves the problem. Different types of operating system. We have different types. Single user, single task operating system. That means a system is there, one single user is there, and that is performing a single task at a time. At a time. This is, for example, you can say DOS operating system, disk operating system, you can say. Single user multitask operating system means you have one system one user can use at a time and multitasking can be done. That means one user can do multiple tasks at the same time. For example, you might be working on Word, you might be working with the printer also, you might be saving your data in disk also. So you are doing multitasking at the same time by the single user. Now multi-user operating system are basically those operating systems that provides the facility of networking, like you might have heard Windows NT, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, Unix, Linux, Ubuntu. So here you have multiple users which are allowed to access the same data or information at a time. Multiprocessing means where you have more than one CPU, more than one processor. You can say parallel processing is possible. That parallel processing is possible by Linux, Unix, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, Windows 11, and so on. Embedded operating system. You might have heard about smartwatches. There the operating system is embedded. That means in a device, a small operating system is incorporated so that you can utilize it. You might have seen in washing machines also, microwaves also, ovens also. So these are known as embedded operating system. Distributed operating system where the computers are connected to each other, data is stored at one place, and they can be distributed as per their requirements. So the computers work in cooperation with each other. These are known as distributed operating system. So what is user interface? That is very important. You might have heard that operating system interacts with the user, with the hardware. So operating system user interface means it is a medium by which user interact with any software. It can be text, it can be graphical, it might be touch screen. Today you have seen you have command prompt. That command prompt is where you have black screen and you have characters. You just type the text. Only keyboard is allowed. No mouse is allowed, right? But in Windows, you might have seen various icons that are known as graphical. You have graphical user interface. So CUI is depicted by DOS, disk operating system, where you have characters, black screen, and you type with a keyboard, and the text will be displayed, and you press enter key, and the command will be executed. But graphical user interface, like Windows, where you have icons, you just double click on that, and it will get open. Then you type, then you save. You have mouse, right? And nowadays you might have seen touch screen systems also, like when you touch the graphics, the icons, it will be opened or executed. So there are two types of user interface. One is CUI and the other one is GUI. I hope you might have understood this. Now let us understand what we had learned till now. What are the different categories of software? Yes, system software and application software that you can see. Short note on packages, right? You might have heard there are different types of packages, like you have spreadsheets, you have multimedia presentations, right? Utilities, again text editor, then disk defragmenter, antivirus. What is meant by application software? So which are designed for specific tasks to be done. Language processors or language translators, which are used to convert high level language or assembly language into machine language which is understandable by the computer. Differentiate between assembler, compiler, interpreter. That is very important. I have already told you the differentiation is given in the form of table in the PPT. You can just go through it in the video. Write a short note on operating system and its functions. So what are operating system? What is meant by operating system? What are the different types of operating system and what are the functions of operating system like processor management, memory management, storage management, resource management, and so on. Now explain in brief the different types of operating system, the different types of a single user, single task, multi-user, multi-processor, right? Distributed operating system. So these are the different types of operating system that you need to explain. Write a short note on user interface of operating system. So you have to explain about the CUI and GUI, character into user interface and graphical user interface. Now give examples for each of system software and application software. So you might have heard so many things about the system software and application software. You just have to give example of both and then give the function of each type. Like system software, if you are explaining just what are the system software, you have operating system and language processors, just give the examples of language processor as well as the operating system, right? Example you can give the functions, you can give the definition. Similarly, for application software, you have packages, utilities, you can explain all these things and enjoy happy learning. In case if you have any doubt, please connect with me. The mobile number is given to you. I'm always available on WhatsApp. Thank you. Bye bye.